intelligence in natural systems, and the solutions to these big pressing problems would actually be found in our own biology. And by that, I mean, when we look at all these chronic conditions, they all have different names. But when we get to root causes, we see that there's a common driver, and that's dysregulation of the immune system and a dysregulation of the gut microbiome. And so then with that sort of common causal thread, we used evolutionary biology as a lens, and we found some compounds in human milk, of all places. And these are oligosaccharides, which is a long-winded way of saying sugars. But these sugars can't be digested by the human body for energy. They don't provide any calories to the baby. So why is nature putting these at such a significant concentration with a diversity? There's over 200 distinct structures of these sugars. And when we looked at it, we realized we're like, this is a nature's pharmacy for human beings at their most vulnerable. And what these do is they train and foundationally set the gut microbiome, as well as program the baby's immune system and brain. So they're the perfect molecules for these chronic diseases that, we now, looking at them holistically, can categorize as gut immune brain axis disorders. And our simple question that we're asking, these are already proven to work in babies, do they still work in adults? And so that's why I'm here. I've been working on this for 8 years. I left a very lucrative, career, going from insider to, I'd say, outsider, and trying to do things differently, because there's amazing evidence that, from the initial pitch, right, is, and we'll kind of get into that, is that the gut health is human health.
So you're right. You went from an insider to an outsider. And in your observation, why do you think traditional pharma may not be optimized for root cause interventions? And it seems to be only dealing with after the fact and after the diseases versus at the front end of the healthy systems before they get sick later.
It's a great question. And one of those is, I know there certainly are financial incentives, right? You can always say, well,
stock market.
Yeah, exactly. When you have quarterly earnings, you say, hey, a cure is one time, treating symptoms is perpetual. But actually, I like to go further back, because it's a little bit more complex than that. I think that's one contributing factor. But before, before about 2014, the top 75% of prescription drugs were actually naturally derived, or, sort of very similar. It truly inspired by nature. So either plant derived compounds or a compound in the human body.